On behalf of Afrovibes TV and Radio, I'm Barbara Sam, Senior Producer and TV host. It is my pleasure to officially welcome all the candidates who have joined us today for a very important debate for the Texas 18th Congressional District seat. This debate has been carefully designed to give each candidate a fair, focused platform to speak directly to the voters. Unlike traditional debates, tonight's session will be audience-free. There will be no clapping, cheering, or interruptions. Only you, the candidates, have the opportunity to clearly share your vision and plans with the people you hope to serve. The only individuals present in this room should be your designated assistant and protocol staff. This format was chosen intentionally so that voters can hear directly from you without distractions. Afrovibes TV and Radio currently reaches more than 5 million viewers worldwide with a strong audience of over 250,000 viewers right here in Houston alone. Our goal is to ensure that voters across Houston and beyond have ample opportunity to hear your voices, your policies, and your vision for Texas 18th District. We believe this is the most transparent way to present your message authentically to the public. We want to highlight the significance of this congressional seat to us at Afrovibes TV and Radio. The late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and the late Mayor Sylvester Turner, both whom previously held this position, were not only outstanding public servants, but they also were close friends and supporters of Afrovibes. They worked with us in many ways to uplift the community, and their legacies remain dear to our hearts. We honor their memory tonight as we welcome a new generation of leadership into this important role. I want to invite Savannah Jones, Afrovibes TV host, to give a brief remark.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Hello, everyone. Before we begin tonight's debate, we pause to honor two extraordinary Houstonians who dedicated their lives to public service and left a permanent mark across Texas 18 and the community. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who represented Texas's 18th Congressional District for nearly 3 decades, was a fierce advocate for justice, healthcare, disaster relief, and civil rights. Her unwavering commitment gave a national voice to the people of Houston and ensured this district always had a seat at the table. Mayor Sylvester Turner, after serving 2 terms as the mayor of Houston, went on to represent Texas 18 in Congress. He brought with him a lifelong commitment to equity, resilience, and leadership, carrying the values he championed at City Hall all the way to Washington. He fought tirelessly for Houston's neighborhoods, its families, and its future. Both leaders also worked closely with Afrovibes TV and Radio, recognizing the power of media to connect communities, uplift diverse voices, and serve the city they loved. Let us not forget the trailblazers who paved the way, legends like Barbara Jordan, Mickey Leland, and Craig Washington, whose leadership and voices helped shape the political landscape of this community. More recently, Erica Lee played a key role in bridging the gap during a time of transition, continuing the legacy of advocacy and representation for District 18. Their contributions remind us of the importance of strong, principled leadership and the power of every voice in shaping our future. Tonight's debate, it's not just about who will represent Congressional District 18 next. It is about continuing the legacy of service, vision, and accountability that Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and Congressman Sylvester Turner embodied. We honor their memory, their leadership, and their profound impact on Houston. Thank you.
We are grateful to every candidate who confirmed their participation. We reached out to all officially approved candidates by the Secretary of State. This includes Republicans, Democrats, and independents alike to ensure fairness. We are pleased to have you here. Afrovibes TV and Radio remains nonpartisan and open to each and every one of you beyond this debate. You are welcome to visit our studios here in Houston for one-on-one interviews, media engagements, or any coverage that may support your campaign. Our mission is to amplify your voice without bias and to help inform the public so they can make the best decision for their future representation. The rules for the debate are as follows. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond to the question provided by the moderators. Should a candidate mention another opponent in their remarks, that referenced opponent has 30 seconds to rebuttal. The moderators will then proceed to the next candidate to respond to the question after the rebuttal. And now it is my honor to introduce the moderators guiding tonight's discussion. They bring exceptional insight, experience, and leadership to the debate. Marina Koryat and Steve Okoroha. Marina Koryat is a dedicated public servant and communications professional. She has over 20 years of experience working with the city of Houston and the state of Texas. As a business owner and procurement advisor, she continues to champion social change, advocacy, and community empowerment. Also joining us as a moderator is a community leader with experience running for public office. Steve Okoroha, a practicing attorney and founder of Lawyer Up Legal Services to provide legal support to African diaspora and small businesses. Recognized as one of Texas 40 under 40 lawyers, he is also a media personality hosting Lawyer Up with Steve O on Afrovibes television. And now I want to hand it over to our moderators.
A warm welcome to all of our candidates and our viewing audience. The 18th Congressional District, located in Houston and Harris County, was specifically created to strengthen minority representation following the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson. Strong leaders have served as the voice of representation for District 18. However, the seat has now been vacant for several months. As a result, 16 candidates are competing to fill the void and represent the voters in the upcoming November 2025 election, about half of whom are here with us today. Steve?
Thanks, Marina. As you know from before, my name is Steve Okoroha, and let's just jump right into it. We're going to start off with opening statements. Each candidate is going to get 90 seconds to go ahead and give their opening statements, and we will start off with Jolanda at the end. Seeing that you will be in office for a short time before running for re-election, what is your primary agenda?
My primary agenda is to bring back the bacon, for lack of a better word, to Texas 18. And by that, I mean restoring our voting rights, restoring our health care rights, restoring criminal justice reform, restoring, the ability to have a good job, to restore public education funding. There are very many things, but I would like to say this. I actually am the only candidate that's actually passed legislation, ferreted it through a body, and gotten it passed that's Republican. And I will use those same skills to bring back the bacon to Texas 18. I am a fighter, just like when I left for the quorum break. I fought for our voting rights, and I didn't come back because I knew they were going to steal 2 black seats, and one of the seats that they racially gerrymandered was this very district, Texas 18. I'm proud to say that I'm endorsed by Craig Washington. You guys mentioned him. And what I know is Texas 18 has been represented by people who are fighters, and I am that fighter. I'm a 30-year lawyer. I will use those skills to bring back the bacon to Texas 18. And then after that, I will run for re-election.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Isaiah?
Well, good evening. I'm excited to be here and have this conversation with you guys. It's very important. Ultimately, what we understand is that in December, it looks like we're going to have another Republican budget that goes up for a vote. The last Republican budget only passed by 1 vote. I can say definitively that I will vote against any type of ridiculous cuts to health care and anything else that Donald Trump wants to do. There's a lot of health care subsidies, particularly with Obamacare, that the Republicans are trying to get rid of. They don't even need to ask my opinion. then I'm going to vote against it. In addition to that, I think that this position needs somebody that understands what Washington, D.C. is like. I spent 4 years with Congresswoman Jackson Lee and served as her senior advisor. Worked with her on a variety of legislation, on how to bring federal dollars right here directly to the district, and most importantly, go and identify the poison pills that Republicans put inside their legislation. I know how to do that. I oftentimes sat on the phone with her at 4 o'clock in the morning going through legislation to figure out what's the deal. But in addition to that, I'll also work to present a new vision for the future. I'll file legislation to axe the Trump tax, the tariffs that are raising the cost of everything that we buy. I support guaranteeing health care and child care to stop people from paying so much. And it's that type of boldness, that type of audacity of why so many people are supporting our campaign. Got the most momentum in this race with the biggest fundraising quarter in the history of the 18th Congressional District. 30,000 people giving an average of $19 a person. That's the energy I'll use to fight for you in Washington, D.C.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Ms. Edwards?
Thank you for this question and the opportunity. My name is Amanda Edwards, and I'm a former at-large Houston City Council member. I also happen to be an attorney and someone who has been born, raised, and still lives in this 18th Congressional District. It's personal to me that we get this right. When I was growing up, my father was ill. He fell sick with something called multiple myeloma when I was 10 years old and died from it when I was a teenager. But I'll never forget asking my father questions like, what would happen if the insurance company said no to the life-saving treatments that my father needed? And I'll never forget his responses. He would always say to me, well, we would just have to figure something else out. And I knew then, just like I know now, that that was the wrong answer. The right answer should have been that we have systems in place that work for people, systems in place that save lives rather than harm them. And so I will be committed as the next Congresswoman for this district to make sure we have systems that work for people when it comes to healthcare access, when it comes to economic opportunity so that everybody in this district can have the opportunity to thrive. When it comes to education and publicly funded education, being able to provide the much needed support needed for our students to have a bright future. I had the opportunity to serve as an at-large city council member and know where the gaps are with policy, but also with my public finance work, know how to bring home the bacon and the resources our community will need.
Thank you, Ms. Edwards. We're going to move on to Mr. Huey.
Yeah, so I've spent my entire career solving hard problems in healthcare, finance, and energy. A lot of people tell me they don't believe there's any chance for making a difference on Capitol Hill. But honestly, I've seen progress in big companies and startups. I believe that if we keep working on strategic issues, then we will see progress. Right here in our district, it feels like we're getting hardest hit by the governor and by the president. And honestly, we don't have a voice there, which is by design. And once we get up there, we have to do our best to make sure that all Americans understand it's not just our district that's getting hurt by cuts to food assistance and healthcare. Some of Trump's own supporters are getting hurt by this and they don't understand. So Democrats, we have to go into places where we're not used to going. We got to go on Fox News and try to explain to the American people what these things are doing to other districts as well. And honestly, it gives me hope that he is willing to change his mind sometimes. And honestly, I'm also willing to work with anyone that I have to in order to get things done. So we've got to find allies. We got to figure out how to reverse course before it's too late. I'm a native Texan. My parents went overseas to Nigeria, so I spent the second half of my childhood there. They modeled service to me. That means that you don't give up when it gets harder. You work harder, okay? So I'm willing to work with anyone I have to get things done.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Ms. Montiel?
I've been Houstonian since 1991, and I've seen this city get worse by the second. As I say always, Houston, we have a problem. This district encompasses the most important areas of our city, as it is the medical center, downtown, the east, the west, and parts of the north where the airport, Bush International Airport, is. Everything that happened in this district affects us all. And for 30 years, this district is being neglected. We've seen that our people are getting more poor. As a matter of fact, last week, there was a report in which Houston became the #1 city with most poverty in the nation. We need to do something about it. For 30 years, there's been promises They know what the problems are, but they do nothing about it. There is $40 billion of federal money that was allocated to the city that we don't know where it is. And that will be my first action when I get in Congress, is introduce a bill to audit the city of Houston and Harris County to find the money, because we only need $1.5 billion to complete the budget to solve the flooding problem in the city, which, by the way, the mayor cut 5% of the drainage budget for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. Mr. Menifee?
Thank you. I'm Christian Menifee, and I'm running for Congress in the 18th Congressional District to fight back against Donald Trump and win to protect our communities. When I was growing up, there were many nights I would not have eaten were it not for the WIC program. There were many days I would have been at school on an empty stomach were it not for free lunch in our public schools. My parents would have never purchased their first home were it not for VA down payment assistance that let them put just $500 down to buy their first house when I was in high school. I'd have never went to college without a Pell Grant. My brother almost certainly would have died from cancer without my parents' military insurance that fully funded his bone marrow transplant, and he's been in remission for more than 20 years. At every single step of the way, it was a thoughtful and helpful government. That's how you take a family like mine that sent more people to prison than to college, to me being the youngest person and the first African-American elected Harris County attorney. But if you look at what Donald Trump is doing in this country right now, every single one of those programs that allowed a kid like me, that would allow an immigrant or anybody else in this country to have their fair shot at the American dream, Donald Trump is taking it away. They're cutting Pell Grants. They're cutting SNAP benefits. They're cutting health care. They're doing every single thing they can to tie our hands behind our back so we cannot have a fair shot in this economy. The good news is if you need a fighter who's going to win against Donald Trump, you don't have to look any further than right here. I've been fighting against Donald Trump for the past 4 years. I've been fighting against Greg Abbott for the past 4 years, and we've been beating him repeatedly. When he tried to cut health care programs in our communities, I sued him and beat him. When Ken Paxton tried to get votes thrown out in Harris County, I sued him and beat him.
10 seconds.
We need somebody who's going to go to Congress and who's going to not just talk about fighting, not just put up a fight and lose, but fight and win for our communities. I'm the person for that. Christian Menifee, I hope to have your support.
Thank you, Mr. Menifee. Mr. Duncan?
Hello, I'm Vince Duncan. I'm running as an independent candidate, and that's a little difference. For the last 10 years, I've walked around the city of Houston, and I've asked the citizens what they wanted. And with me, the citizens signed a petition, a nominating petition to have my name added to the ballot, which makes it unique. I'm asking the citizens themselves what they want. So a little bit about me. As a builder, I build things. I create a blueprint, and I build from the foundation up. As a United States Congressman, I would like to rebuild District 18 by creating policies that become law. For example, we need clean air and water. We need policies that improve our public education standards. We need to create something. This is brand new language. We could create federal manufacturing zones to rebuild America's manufacturing capabilities. We could create affordable housing. We could create affordable college and universities. So now what I have is a plan, and I detail it, not just in action, but action. I'm detailing just what we could do. My route to getting on the ballot was asking the
10
citizens,
seconds.
and I have a plan to show the citizens how we can make our laws work for us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Mr. Knox?
My name is Ollie Knox, Ollie J. Knox, and I'm running for Congress. I'm married, the father of 5. I retired from the General Motors Corporation. I am not a politician. I say what the late J.C. Penney said, and that was, I don't believe in excuses. I believe in hard work. My number one goal when I get in office is our seniors. Our seniors are hurting. And my goal would be when I get in to give every senior 62 years old and older a one-time gift of $20,000. Second, keep Medicare and Social Security solvent, reinstate SNAP. Another thing that I want to do, I want to serve everybody. Nobody have mentioned our Latino brothers. I want to serve them and help them. One of the things that I don't like is they're being caught up in this drag net. Now, if you have a green card, a visa, or work to write papers. As your congressman, I will come and get you. Third, our women, young women that are working, they have children with autism. It needs to be addressed on the north side, south side, and city gas. We need to address that. We need to help these women with children with autism. Our young men.
Thank you, Mr. Knox.
Oh.
Sorry, we have to keep moving. Just for everybody's information, we have the clock in the back, so you'll be able to know how much time you have left. Marina?
We have another candidate.
Oh, yes. Welcome, Miss Williams. I will repeat the question briefly. We're just on opening statements, so you're right on time. Seeing that you will be that you will be in office for a short time before running for re-election, what is your primary agenda?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me here. I really appreciate Afrobeats hosting all of us here today. And again, welcome to the Texas 18th Congressional District Debate. My name is Valencia Williams. In 2008, I was approached by the Texas Democrat Party to be the precinct chair for my precinct, which was precinct 490. I took my precinct from the smallest voting precinct to the second largest voting precinct. So I am a capacity builder. In 2013, upon my return from Ghana, West Africa, where I have built a school that is completed, and I've done much work over there. So my service extends from the United States all the way overseas. Upon my return in 2013, I was asked again by the Texas Democrat Party to be presiding judge for precinct 773, my old precinct of 490, and for the Galleria area. In 2013, I wrote legislation, the Underage Child Care Marriage Act. It was a bipartisan act. Former Congressmember Mary Landrieu of Louisiana, she actually adopted the act. Seconds. And so I'm just asking two things. One, that you elect me, and two, let my people vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you all. We're going to go on to the next question, which is in the healthcare space. According to an analysis by 46 Brooklyn Research, manufacturers have raised prices on nearly 600 brand name drugs in January 2025 alone, contributing to the escalation of prescription drug costs. What would you do to address the increase of prescription drug costs? We will begin with Mr. Isaiah Martin.
Well, I would say, first off, Donald Trump is stupid because he put tariffs on pretty much everything. And we see that that's raising the cost, particularly for our prescriptions as well as groceries and everything else. So again, I believe that if Donald Trump wants to act like a toddler that cannot control himself, we need to go and put a ability to take his tariff power away from him. I support axing the Trump tax. You want to know why you're paying more for everything? It is the Trump tax. So I will immediately file that legislation to make sure that we can take that away. In addition to that, I believe in the wealthiest nation on earth, we should be guaranteeing health care for people in this country. That means help with your prescription drugs. Why? Because if we can afford to give $4 trillion in tax cuts to folks like Elon Musk, we certainly can afford to guarantee your health care and guarantee your prescriptions. I'll immediately co-sponsor legislation to do that inside of the United States Congress. And as your next congressman, I will be doing everything I can to make this be a national issue that we take advantage of.
Thank you. Ms. Edwards?
Healthcare is my primary focus as the next Congresswoman in the 18th Congressional District. There are far too many of our seniors and residents who are suffering and being left behind. Case in point, our seniors and prescription drug costs. Under the Inflation Reduction Act, we finally began to see relief for our seniors with capping the amount of prescription drug costs that could be sent over to seniors. Before that point in time, we were living in a nation where senior citizens were having to ration their prescription drugs, literally taking their prescription portion in the morning and then an over-the-counter drug in the evening in hopes that they would still be able to make ends meet and pay their bills, yet still have their prescription intact. We should never live in a country where the way we treat our seniors is to force them to actually ration prescription drugs because they are unaffordable. We finally began to make progress in this regard under the Inflation Reduction Act. And as one of the first items of business when President Trump took office was to sign an executive order to begin to reverse course on that. I will be an active fighter to ensure that we are keeping and preserving the reductions that have been made for our seniors, but then also extending that to everyone in our community. It's not just seniors who have a need when it comes to prescription price reductions. And right now in our country, we have been doing a terrible job of keeping those costs at bay.
Mr. Huey?
Yes. So I have spent years in 2 healthcare startups. It's not for the faint of heart, okay? We know the complexity is enormous. The history of healthcare in this country, like insurance and all that, it's a very strange history around the time of World War II. You can go read up on that. Honestly, it's grown into be more of a monster now. And honestly, if you want to get something done on Capitol Hill, you have, even if all of the congressmen in Congress want to do something good, we have powers that we are going up against, right? A lot of people feel like the government shouldn't be involved. Regulations are bad. That's not true. We want regulations to try to say what kind of society we want to live in, how we can make it better, how we can make it good for all Americans. And honestly, the health insurance companies and the pharmaceuticals have a lot of regulatory capture. Go look up that. They have a huge moat, and that means that they are not willing very easily to work with us on making things better for all Americans. So we need to make sure that we communicate to everyday Americans what they are doing and try to raise support, put pressure on the congressmen that are bowing down to those companies, and make sure that they come around to working with us to get things done in a way. We are so wealthy here. It doesn't make sense that we have such huge healthcare costs. We have the most technology. This is where things are invented. And we have the ability to provide care for people, and we're just not doing it.
Thank you. Ms. Montiel?
Thank you. Yes, big pharma is a problem. Big pharma is punishing our people. And I'm going to give you a clear example. The glaucoma drops medication that is sold here in the United States is sold for over $80, the little bottle that is like this. If you go south the border, Mexico or any country in Latin America, that same little bottle, but the same pharmaceutical company with the same composition costs $10. Big pharma is punishing our people. And President Donald Trump already promised that he is going to target this and reduce the cost of medication by 1,500%. He knows big pharma is punishing our people, and that is raising the price not only of medication, but the cost of healthcare. We have a major healthcare problem in our district when there are federal programs that can be used and implemented without extra cost to help the people of District 18, as also to help the people that are dealing with the cancer that they have acquired due to the cancer cluster in Fifth Ward and Kashmir Garden. So I will target that, and I will work with President Trump to lower the prices of medication.
Mr. Menifee?
There are 2 main problems that are causing prescription drugs to be way too expensive in this country. One is big business that is allowed to run rampant, and the second problem is the MAGA wing, the Donald Trump wing of the Republican Party. When my brother was battling cancer, he was at 2 different hospitals. One was a military hospital, and we saw at that hospital that there were many folks who were not receiving great treatment. And then he came to Houston, to MD Anderson, and he was able to use my parents' military insurance to get world-class treatment. There is no reason why in a country as developed and as successful as the United States of America, 2 people should be getting such different treatment. Now, if we look right here in the state of Texas, we see that we have a governor that has refused to accept the federal government's offer of expanding Medicaid. Right now, it is too expensive to buy prescription drugs in this country for the sole reason that we're allowing big business to run rampant and we're allowing MAGA Republicans to refuse the help from the federal government. So what I would do is very simple. I support government-sponsored healthcare for everybody. That means Medicare for all. And I'm proud to be the only candidate in this race who has been supported by the Medicare for All PAC. Nobody in this country should have to choose between life-saving treatment and putting food on their table. And the second thing is allowing the federal government to negotiate down prescription drug prices, not just for seniors, but for every single person. We can't allow corporate actors to continue to price gouge, and we can't allow Donald Trump
10
and the MAGA
seconds.
Republican Party to continue to allow it to happen.
Thank you, Mr. Menifee. Ms. Williams?
Thank you again. We face two problems here in the United States of America, and I like to state facts when it comes to healthcare, so I like to do my homework. Those two things are high cost, leading to unaffordability for many, and unequal access to care, often due to a lack of adequate health insurance and geographic disparities like medical deserts. My mother was a patient over at MD Anderson Hospital. She used to go there every Friday to get bone marrow treatment. Instead of me griping about them not paying for her healthcare insurance, what I did was I joined Be the Match Foundation. And when I joined Be the Match Foundation, we got national coverage. And people began to come from the north, the south, the east, west of Houston, of the United States of America, and join with Be the Match so they could get tested to see if they were a bone marrow match for other people. And that is how I solved that particular problem. Also, with my little seconds that are left, in college, I was actually working and formulating a plan for a cure for Alzheimer's, not using topical
10
medication.
seconds.
My professor called me and said, "Hey, I want to speak with you." What I basically said was I wanted to create an instrument
Time.
That's like the instrument that we use to clean our
Okay,
teeth.
thank you. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Duncan.
All right. My position is people first in politics, people first. So now everything in America is financed by the citizens. Who's paying for research and development here in the United States? The pharmacy companies are not. I'm going to tell you who's paying for research and development. You and I. They're getting research and development money from the Department of Health and Human Services. Who sponsors that? We do. Okay, they also get money from the National Institute of Health. Who's paying for that? We are. So we have a situation where the businesses are trying to create the policies that manage the people. It should be the people creating the policies that the businesses can use. This is not their money. So we can instantly just cap what everybody can charge. Simple. We're just going to say, hey, if you're going to use our research and development and put your name, Bayer, or whatever your name is, on our product, we're going to control the cost. It's not that complicated. We have to control the cost. And that's my whole political platform. It's the people first. Now, I asked the people if I could get on the ballot. And so that's always going to be my position. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Mr. Knox.
My position would be to negotiate. Now, following the lawsuits, all of that's good. But my position would be to negotiate. And a good example is that this is what they do in Congress. This is what they do in the Senate. They negotiate. When you're negotiating with somebody, it's give and take. My position would be, I want this, that, and the other for the 18th Congressional District. And I'll do this and that. This is the way it's done. I looked at Lisa Murkowski. She's the senator of Alaska. She held out. She would not give in to President Trump's big, beautiful deal until she got what she wanted for the people she served. Why can't we do the same thing? This is business. And since we're dealing with a president that's a businessman, we have to be business. And I will go to the wall for the 18th to get what we need, whatever it is, health care, reinstating the SNAP, and health care and everything else. That's my position. Negotiate. And by calling him names is not going to get anything done.
Thank you, Mr. Knox. We're going to go on to environment.
All right. I'm going to ask this question, and then we're going to take a brief break, but I just wanted to give you guys the question so that you can marinate on that. It's about the environment. Residents in District 18 have been exposed to cancer-causing groundwater contamination near the creosote site, and residents want action. What steps and process would you put in place to address the cancer risk in Northeast Houston? We'll be right back on Afrovibes TV. We are just going to take a quick commercial break. Thank you. Into it. We're back here on Afrovibes TV at the Congressional District 18 debate. I'm going to go and repeat the question that I asked before the break. Question 3 is about the environment. Residents in District 18 have been exposed to cancer-causing groundwater contamination near the creosote site, and residents want action. What steps and process would you put in place to address the cancer risk in Northeast Houston? We're going to start with you, Ms. Edwards.
With regard to the cancer cluster in one of the most historic areas in our community, which is Fifth Ward, we need to put all hands on deck in addressing this issue, starting with, of course, making sure that the EPA's involvement does not wane in light of the administration change that has taken place. We need their presence. We need their active listening and engagement and being proactive in terms of getting to the bottom of what exactly is going on and us resolving that challenge. What we also need is to continue to amplify the voices of our residents, those residents who have been unheard for generations. It's personal to me because my family is from that area. And so my uncles used to own the old C&L shoe repair on Lyons Avenue. My mother worked at St. Elizabeth Hospital until it closed in 1989. And so for us, and when I think about the cancer even that we've been exposed to, you have to wonder, what could it have been in terms of the causation? And so we've got to get to answers when it comes to the testing, but we also then need to have a comprehensive solution. What do we do with those residents that have been exposed, and how do they get restored into a position where they have an equitable outcome? I think we've got to stay focused on bringing public-private partnerships together so we can have a fund that focuses on equitable outcomes and relocation for those that need it. We need to hold Union Pacific accountable for what has happened.
Thank you,
and
Ms.
then
Edwards.
do the remediation necessary to keep people safe that are there.
Thank you so much, Ms. Edwards. Mr. Huey?
Unfortunately, not everyone is treated equally. We can imagine that a wealthy part of our city would see this resolved very quickly. And that's not always the case, but that's why someone in the seat is meant to amplify the needs of people. My faith compels me to speak up for those in need. And I'm a little discouraged because this week we saw something in the news about the EPA relaxing restrictions on emissions right here in the Houston area. It's like, I thought when I was a kid that we were gonna breathe easier when I was an adult. And still, time after time, we see this back and forth of people trying to ruin our air or introduce carcinogens into our environment. So we can't wholly rely on the EPA at the federal level. Let's hope that they would respond in a timely manner, but we should use our voice to put pressure on Texas and other local authorities to come together and to resolve this problem, because we've seen time and time again that marginalized communities are ending up worse off, and it's not right. It's not respecting human dignity.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Ms. Montiel?
Well, I'm glad to see that my contenders are taking my ideas and using it. As I said, the issue of the cancer cluster has been there for over 20 years. It's been a political talking point, but nobody have done absolutely anything about it, just to talk about it and promise they're going to solve it. This is easy. We have to engage EPA and make it active and responsible for the cleanup of the area. We have to engage Union Pacific, who is the source of this cancer cluster and contamination of creosol. They need to be responsible and engaged into the cleaning of the area, because not only adults, but little children are dying as a cause of this cancer cluster. Enough is enough, and I will be active into doing this, because what I also seeing is they're trying to drive the residents of the area out. So it looks to me they're trying to regentrifying the area, and once they move the people out, they're going to clean it up and sell their homes. So I promise you that I will be active, and you will not lose your home, and also you will be living in a safe and clean environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. Mr. Menifee?
The cancer cluster in Fifth Ward has been going on for generations, yet most of the people sitting up here with me have done absolutely nothing about it. They haven't spent a single day in Fifth Ward and walked the streets. They haven't talked to anybody's grandmother out there who was battling cancer. They have not invested any time, and now all of a sudden everybody's interested in the cancer cluster. I've been fighting on this issue for years, and I'm going to tell you the two main obstacles to getting something done with this cancer cluster, and that is Greg Abbott and that is Donald Trump. When the initial testing was done and people across those communities have been crying out for years, for decades, my cousin has cancer, my auntie has cancer, my niece has cancer. It went to the state environmental regulatory agency, and they were supposed to come in and test. They were going to approve a cleanup plan that would have set that community back decades. I was there along with the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, along with then Mayor Sylvester Turner, and we were making our voices heard. And ultimately, the cleanup plan was rejected because that's what the community wanted. And after we worked hard and fought hard to get something filed so that we could get the EPA and their federal resources right there at the front door, Donald Trump got elected and he cut 60% of the offices at the EPA. He eliminated the Environmental Justice Department at the EPA. You cannot get anything done in Fifth Ward until we're prepared to stand up to Donald Trump and Greg Abbott, who couldn't care less about our communities. The cancer cluster did not start yesterday. It didn't start a week ago, and you should not be voting for anybody for Congress who just found out about it when they decided to put their name on the ballot.
Thank you, Mr. Menifee. Next, we have Ms. Williams.
Can I have the rest of your 8 seconds that are left?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I don't believe in just taking things from people. I believe in asking. When it comes to the cancer cluster that is in Fifth Ward, I have stepped on many toes and at the city of Houston, from the former mayor, Sylvester Turner, and a lot of local Houston politicians. Why is that? Monies were dedicated to relocating every single person in the cancer cluster. How much? $5 million. Not one person in Cashmere Gardens or Fifth Ward was notified about these monies that were available. That money is available to them. It's not available to any mayor. It's not available to any state representative, no state senator, no city council member, no Harris County judge, no county clerk, not even to Mr. Menifee. So as he rightfully stated, himself, Sylvester Turner, and Sheila Jackson Lee have been in politics in Houston for a very long time, for generations. This $5 million was available. Why didn't they go to the community and say, we have $5 million for you guys so that you can relocate anywhere you want
10
to
seconds, Ms. Williams.
while we clean up Cashmere Gardens in Fifth Ward? The fact of the matter is they didn't do it. And the major question is, where is that $5 million?
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. And because we've had the mention of another candidate, we are going to go into a 30-second rebuttal. Mr. Menifee?
We shouldn't be electing people who ask questions they should know the answer to. That $5 million is with the city budget right now because the new mayor decided that they weren't going to move forward with the relocation plan. This is not complicated. If the contamination in the dirt cannot be cleaned up, then that's not the type of thing that you can move people to the left to remediate and then move them back. And in fact, it was the people in Fifth Ward who said that they did not want to be relocated.
10 seconds.
So maybe the candidates up here should spend more time in Fifth Ward, in Cashmere Gardens, talking to the people who actually live there, and you would learn that they did not want to be relocated.
May I?
Thank you, Mr. Menifee. We have to proceed with the next candidate.
May I have 2 seconds of your time?
You want to give 2 seconds of your time? Okay,
Thank you very
let me go
much.
ahead and start that.
The fact of the matter is that $5 million was given.
It's 2 seconds.
Was given in 2023. Mr. Menifee does know where that money is because, like he said, himself, Former Mayor Sylvester Turner, may he rest in peace. And former Congressmember Sheila Jackson Lee, may she rest in peace. They were all together when those monies were allocated. And the people did go on television to say they wanted to be relocated. You can find that footage on Google.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Mr. Duncan.
Hey, look, I think we need to re-examine the end goal on what we want to do. At that time when they were building the railroads, and we need the railroads because they transport everything we need. We need interstate commerce, and that's what they were there for. During those times, the railroad paid for their labor to live close to where the jobs were. And that was that model during that time. In the Fifth Ward community that I'm from, they financed a lot of those houses were financed by the railroad companies. And so the people live close. Now, who oversees the EPA, the Congress? So every chemical that they have, the people know about it, and we know. And so it's a tightrope. Some of the people wanted to stay, some don't want to stay. But right now, the city of Houston is still issuing permits. I'm from the Fifth Ward area. They're issuing permits right now. I say it all the time. I say, I thought they was leaving. They're building brand new houses as we speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Mr. Knox?
I will get you an answer. I've heard, different views, but I will get you an answer. And I will publicize it, but I will get you an answer from the EPA what is going on, because we need an answer. We need a clear answer. And the people of Fifth Ward deserve to know their options. And I will get you an answer. I'll say that, and I'll go on the record to say that I will get you an answer. People need to know. They need to have options, and I will get you an answer. It won't be no back and forth. If you say something, you need to be able to back it up. But I will get you an answer. I'll say that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knox, and thank you again, Mr. Duncan, for being so gracious and sharing your time with Ms. Williams. Mr. Martin.
I want to take a second to correct the record on what I heard previously, because all Republicans do is lie. You had Carmen over here talking about Donald Trump reduced drug prices by 1,500%. Carmen, I think you need a math lesson. You can't reduce prices more than 100%. So maybe go do some math. I know MAGA doesn't quite understand math. Ollie's talking about something regarding Lisa Murkowski, but I don't think that you've actually read the congressional record, Ollie, because maybe you would realize that Lisa Murkowski's provisions that she thought she got completely taken away by Donald Trump. So you don't know what you're talking about. All these people want to talk about Washington, D.C., but have never been there and have never actually done the work. I work with Congresswoman Jackson Lee specifically on a lot of these issues. In regards to environmental issues, here's what's the deal. It was Congresswoman Jackson Lee who came forward and filed the earmark request to go and bring the air markers, particularly for our district, to make sure that we can understand the pollution that we are seeing. Ultimately, when Donald Trump got into the White House, what did he do? He took it away. I'm going to be very unapologetic. Unless the money can go back towards the EPA so we can go forward and actually go and get some real relief from this, I'm not voting for any of these Republican budgets. We need people that can be unapologetic about that. I will not vote for any type of Republican budget that Donald Trump puts forward that defunds the work that we've done in Fifth Ward, the work that's been done in Kashmir Gardens. We have come way too far in this country and in this fight to be able to stop it. But in addition to that, I believe in correcting the record from Republicans because they're completely clueless on this issue.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. And because we had two candidates mentioned, we're going to give Ms. Montiel a rebuttal first and then Mr. Ali.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Okay, let's start by quoting what President Trump said, because we know medication is extremely high in the United States. The other thing I want to say is I don't care what you say, Asaya. You have, 2% in the polls? You need to attack your own Democrats, not me, if you want to raise in the polls. So put your attention in other people like Menifee, but not me.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. Mr. Knox, 30 seconds.
And you said, I don't know what I'm talking about. You need to check the record. In Congress, you negotiate. And she did not sign anything until she got what she wanted for the people that she served. And that's the way it works. You have to negotiate.
Thank you, Mr. Knox.
I would love to I was mentioned, right?
Oh, well, it's only when you're first mentioned, then they get to respond, then we have to move on. The only reason she was able to respond was because Mr. Duncan had given her some more time.
All right, well, 40,000 donors, Carmen. I know you wish you had it, but you don't.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Now we're going to
Okay,
move
he
on to
mentioned me
our.
again.
Hold on.
Are we gonna keep on doing this?
Everyone, we got to move on to the next question.
All right, so we're getting lively here. So our next question.
Breaking after that
Oh,
question.
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you guys for reminding me. We're going to take a quick break on Afrovibes TV. We're going to get back to our next question after a quick 10-minute break. Thank you.
So we're moving on. In 2023, there were more than 250,000 jobs across the energy sector, according to the U.S. Department of Energy's 2024 Energy and Employment Report. How would you provide access to jobs in the renewable energy sector for marginalized communities? We will begin with Mr. Huey.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people who have seen layoffs in the energy industry recently. A neighbor had to send a lot packing because she works in HR for a super major oil company. And honestly, Trump's policies are not helping right now. He's pulling back on what we can be doing in the energy industry. I know a lot of people who work in carbon capture, solar, wind, and honestly, in this day and age, we need to be firing on all cylinders across the board. We can't be just picking a couple and running with that. This is 2025. The world runs on more than just a couple of sources. And we are shooting ourselves in the foot for the long term if we pull back now. I have friends who are seeing their projects stalled. Even wealthy oil companies right now are struggling because some of their groups are not able to make headway because of these policies. And I recently met with the American Small Business League, and most businesses in America are small businesses. And we should be investing in those businesses more than the handouts we give to large businesses. That would benefit more Americans, and especially in marginalized communities. Small businesses are one of the surest paths to lift them up. And there is so much we can be doing in terms of other renewable energy sources that we should be investing right now for the next 50 years, and especially providing jobs in these marginalized communities.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Ms. Montiel?
Well, energy is the lifeline of Texas and Houston. And I believe that the first thing we need to do is implement trade education in our high schools. So that will help, especially the community that is on the east side of the district, to be ready to take those jobs at the lower level. That's necessary. Also, the shift in the policies in energy has affected the industry because they are either too regulated and in a way that they cannot really perform. And there's been a lot of layoff also in energy. And then now we have, thanks to President Trump, there's been deregulation. But sadly, the energy companies, with the deregulation, the prices has gone down, and they don't feel like, drilling more because they're not making the money they are expecting. So it's a catch-22 that we're living with the energy company industry. So we need to target that part. We need to prepare at the lower level with trade education, but also we need to start playing, sadly, as to every time we change administrations, the regulations and the policies are changed, and they keep on affecting. And instead of us moving forward, we are just like go back and then get ahead, and it's putting a stagnation situation. And that's my proposal, to work together in Congress and with the president and with the oil companies, since we're here in Texas, to move forward with energy production.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. Mr. Duncan, please.
As a Texan and as an independent candidate, I'm more of a protectionist politician, meaning that we shouldn't globalize all of our resources. All of our environmental plans shouldn't be necessarily connected with the rest of the globe. So for me, as a Texan, I support using fossil fuels. I think renewables are experimental. We don't know a lot about them. They're experimental. And so, but the fossils are something that we could count on. You know, we could count on what we can do with oil. We could count on what we can do with coal. These are proven energy sources. And so I think in terms of all things political, I think we should have a marketplace where the consumer could take a choice of what kind of fuel they want to use. I don't like the whole idea that we're forced off of fossil fuels. I have a problem with that. So that's the setup that we need. We need a setup where the people can make a choice. Now, both of these things are good for the economy. Both of them produce lots and lots of jobs. So if you're here in the Houston area, refineries are part of your life. You know,
10 seconds.
Roughnecking and people doing oil rigs, that's a part of your DNA. So I'll leave it right there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Ms. Williams, please.
Thank you. When we think of the energy capital of the world, everyone thinks Texas. Well, it's not Texas. It's actually Houston that is the energy capital of the world. There's no official global ranking for cities for this title, though Houston is consistently referred as the energy capital of the world. And Texas's 18th Congressional District, which covers much of the inner city of Houston, job creation in the energy sector can focus on the booming renewable and energy transition fields, as well as energy efficiency. This builds on Houston's existing strengths as a major energy hub. And I shared with you that when I became precinct chair for Precinct 490, that I took my precinct from the lowest voting precinct and I took it up to the second highest voting precinct, because I believe in building on the foundation that is solid here in Houston, Texas. And we have a solid energy sector here in Houston, Texas. I don't want to tear it down. I want to move those things that are not working in the energy
10
sector
seconds.
here. And I want to build on the foundation and continue to grow our very great energy sector here so that Houston can continue to be the energy hub of the world.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Ms. Jones.
Thank you. I'm sorry I had to leave before because I had a pre-existing commitment. But thank you for the question. For me, renewable energy just isn't about protecting the environment. It's about creating economic opportunity where it's needed the most. I come from communities that historically have been left out of economic growth. Too often, big projects bypass Black and brown neighborhoods, leaving us with pollution, while others get the jobs, and I'll work to change that. For example, I've worked on the north side with the creosote and all these things that negatively affect batch plants on the southern part of Texas 18. First, I will fight for federal investments in workforce training programs that specifically target marginalized communities so residents can earn certifications in solar, wind, and battery technologies where they live. Second, I will push to require local hiring and union standards for federal renewable energy contracts that ensures these new jobs are good-paying union jobs that go to the people most impacted by climate change and economic inequality. Third, I'll fight to bring clean energy development hubs, solar farms, weatherization programs, electric vehicle infrastructure into neighborhoods in Texas 18, creating both immediate construction jobs and long-term maintenance jobs. And finally, because I'm a dues-paying union member from a union family, I know that when workers are organized, they don't get jobs, that they have careers with dignity and security. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Knox. Okay, I just want to make sure.
I am a union member, still paying union dues, United Auto Workers Union. I would certainly inform the 18th Congressional District of what's coming so they can prepare or get the right training so they can get some of these good jobs. These are good jobs, and we need more and more energy. So I like the idea of drill, baby, drill, because, you know, you need those jobs. People need good paying jobs to take care of their families, to do things that they need to do. And to do those things, it takes good paying jobs. So I would inform the 18th Congressional District what's coming and what training they would have to go through to get these jobs. But the main thing is informing people what's coming. People need to know. They don't need to be ignorant of anything. They need to know what's coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Knox.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Next question is involving immigration candidates. Immigrants and refugees are a major part of Houston. In Congress, which of the following would you vote for? Faster asylum hearings, expanded work permits, or tighter border security? And why does it matter to Texas District 18? Ms. Montiel, we're going to start with you first.
Can you repeat the two last questions?
Absolutely.
Faster asylum?
Yes, in Congress, which of the following would you vote for? Faster asylum hearings, expanded work permits, or tighter border security, and why does it matter to the district?
Yes. I will go for securing our borders. I am a legal immigrant, and I believe and I'm pro-legal immigration. The only way to come to this country is in legality. This is a country of law, and we cannot start our lives in this country by breaking the law. We in Houston are facing the result of this illegal immigration. The crime have gone up, and this is a problem we're facing. As you know, locally, there was the little girl that was raped and murdered, and many other, offenses that have been made against our own people. Right now, even our small businesses have been affected as they keep on breaking in. They're breaking in even in my gated community, stealing the mail. So I believe we need to secure the border, and we need to reform immigration and make legal immigration faster and better so people can come legally, as I did, to this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. Mr. Duncan?
Again, I'm a protectionist American politician. Immigration could never be a priority for me. It could never. So I would be for securing the border, but we have so many domestic problems, and we have so many Americans that need jobs that they would be my only priority. In every metric, we have Americans who can do everything from engineering to farming, but our labor has been dismantled for about the last 40 years in favor of bringing people in. So that's my position. Immigration can never be a priority for me. I'm only concerned about the people here in the United States who are desperate for American opportunities, whether it's universities, whether it's playing sports. The U.S. people are the only people who can vote for me, and they'd be my only priority. That's going to do it.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Ms. Williams?
When it comes to securing the border, I am for securing the border. I've actually vocally spoken about this very publicly. However, I've also spoken about constructing legislation, since I have actually authored a bill that was adopted into the U.S. Senate by former Senator Mary Landrieu of Louisiana. I've also spoken about actually constructing legislation that will allow one of the parents of children who are receiving an education in the United States of America to stay here whilst their children continue their education in our country. I do not want to disrupt any child's education. And that would require for one parent to stay and one parent to voluntarily deport. I do not believe in giving incentives to people for volunteering to deport our country. Also, when it comes to medical insurance, we, the taxpayers' dollars, I don't want to focus on crime and call everyone who has migrated here a criminal and point and say they're the cause for crime rising up in our country. That's just simply not the truth. The truth is that illegal immigration places a strain on our social welfare system, on our economical system, and
10 seconds,
on
Ms.
our
Williams.
judicial system as well, and on our taxpayers' dollars. And so I want to ease the taxpayers' pockets by introducing this sort of legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Representative Jones?
This issue is personal to me. My ex-husband was an immigrant, and my stepchildren are immigrants. En fact, though, hablo español. I've seen firsthand how our broken immigration system keeps families in limbo. That's why I believe there must be a faster path to citizenship, not endless delays or political games. I will also fight to protect birthright citizenship because it's enshrined in the 14th Amendment and it's a cornerstone of equal rights in this country. So if I had to choose, I'd support faster asylum hearings and expanded work permits. Families fleeing violence shouldn't be trapped for years while they wait. They should be able to work legally, provide for their children, and contribute to our economy. And this matters to me deeply in District 18. Houston is one of the most diverse cities in America. Our district is powered by immigrants. This country is empowered by immigrants. In our healthcare system, construction, small business, restaurants, childcare, immigrants don't weaken us, they strengthen us. So in Congress, I will fight for an immigration system that's fair, fast, humane, protects birthright citizenship, and provides a clear path to citizenship. And I would not militarize our borders. It's not right. I would not be separating families. And in Texas 18, I believe immigrants are not outsiders. They're our neighbors, our coworkers, and our family.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Mr. Knox?
I believe in legal immigrants. Come here legally. Do it the right way. Second, as the congressman from Texas, every person that's here that got caught up in the dragnet, we have people with green cards, right to work, and visas legally. Some of them are incarcerated right now. As their congressman, I would go get them. I would tell the ICE, I said, look, Mr. Hernandez he has a right to be here, or whoever. They have a right to be here, so let them go. Why are they here? Why are they here? We have to do things we are a country with laws. And I would do it the right way, make an appointment to go see ICE and explain these things to him. As I say again, green card, visa, right to work, they're here legally. And they should not be incarcerated, and I will go get them as their congressman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knox. And Mr. Huey?
So in general, on my platform, I want to advocate for sensible policies. This is near and dear to my heart. I know plenty of people who have crossed the southern border, not just from Latin America, but also other parts of the world. Last year, Texas Monthly explained to the American people, well, Texans, but I've been trying to tell the American people in general that our government, both the governor and various presidents, have time and time again not done something about this. Okay, they do a lot of border theatrics to try to rally their base to support them. But in reality, they don't go after businesses, for example, that could put a stop to it. Why? Because their phones would be off the hook, right? And they know this. A Republican governor over 15 years ago here in Texas tried to work with Republicans on something sensible, work permits that made sense, okay? And they didn't buy it. They like the fact that the vice president is making up stories about immigrants eating cats. They're not trying to solve the problem, they're trying to make it worse. And I've been watching a immigration tracker for months. A lot of the people in detention, only 1 out of 3 have been criminals, okay? They're wasting time going after mothers picking up kids after school instead of making a sensible solution on work permits, okay? We've been trying to do this my entire life, to have a sensible work permit system. Yes, use the limited resources to go after criminals, but not people who are actually working in this country.
Thank you, Mr. Huey.
Yeah.
All right, candidates, we're going to move on to the next question.
Thank you very much. We're going on to federal policy. Would you support President Trump's push to allow the National Guard to patrol the streets of Houston? Why or why not? We will begin with Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, I would support that. I support safety. I think we all deserve to be able to live in a clean, safe environment. I think that the law-abiding people should be able to shop and live in clean neighborhoods and walk in and out of their houses. I live in one of the most crime-ridden communities in Houston. And all the people that I know that are committing crimes, we all still live in the same neighborhood. They never lock their doors. Their doors are open all the time. And I see them because they are committing all kinds of crimes. And the way they have it set up here, and I've talked to law enforcement people. I say, if you know they committed a crime, why don't y'all just pick them up? They say, well, we're building a case on them. I say, why don't you let them know they under investigation or something? And to let them know, we think you selling dope here. We want you to know we think you selling dope. That way it acts as a deterrent, not to this whole thing where the criminals are just running free and with impunity and just destroying our communities, our shopping malls. So yeah, I support any security measures to make my life safer for my family, my children,
10 seconds.
and everybody. So yeah, so I would support that. I really would.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Ms. Williams.
Thank you again for this gracious invitation and for giving us all an opportunity to project our views. I would not support the National Guard being here in Houston, Texas. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, right in 5th Ward, Texas. And I back the blue 100%. I believe our law enforcement officers on every level, local, state, and federal, are doing a phenomenal job with keeping us safe in Houston. What I would suggest is that we hire more law enforcement officers, more HPD officers, more officers on the local, state, and federal level. But we don't need the National Guard here. We don't need military forces here in Houston. We are not under siege in our city. Houston is a beautiful place to live. It's a safe place to live for individuals, for families, for those who want to begin businesses, for those who want to come here for education, whatever it is you may want to come to Houston for. I'm telling you, our law enforcement officers here in Houston, Texas, on every level are doing a phenomenal job, and they do not need any assistance whatsoever from any National Guard or any military forces. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Representative Jones.
Hail to the no. Absolutely not. I would never support Donald Trump's push to send the National Guard to patrol the streets of Houston. Here's why. Houston is not a war zone. It's our home. Deploying the military against our own citizens is dangerous, undemocratic, and unconstitutional. We don't need soldiers with guns patrolling our neighborhoods. What we need are jobs, opportunities, strong schools, and investment in public safety that builds trust and not fear. This matters especially in District 18, where Black and brown communities already face over-policing and systematic inequities. Putting the National Guards in our streets would only escalate tensions and put our young people at risk. I've spent my career fighting against unnecessary, heavy-handed policing. When Greg Abbott and Donald Trump tried to intimidate us during the quorum break, I didn't back down. I won't back down here. I was offended that they would send the FBI after us. In Congress, I'll fight for federal policies that keep us safe from the right way and that protect us from the federal government targeting us, more funding for community policing, violence prevention, mental health services, and job creation, not turning Houston into an armed camp. So my answer is simple. I stand with the people of Houston, not with Donald Trump's fear tactics, and I will fight to make sure that the National Guard never patrols not one street in the city of Houston. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Mr. Knox.
Actually, if Houston was like Chicago or Washington, D.C., I would support it. But we are not there yet. And I pray to God we never get there. I think the Blue is doing a great job. I support the Blue here in Houston. And as I said, Houston is not Chicago, nor is it Washington, D.C. So there's no need for it here. But if we had those problems, then I would support it. But right now, I would not support the National Guard here in Houston. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knox. Mr. Huey?
Seeing soldiers walk around on the streets with machine guns reminds me of my time in Nigeria as a child, and I never would have thought I'd see that in the United States. I know people who are active duty military and retired who think it's a bad idea, it's a bad precedent. We have various levels of law enforcement in this country. We even have federal police, if you want to call them that are skilled at tracking down criminals and helping out and working with local law enforcement. These kinds of partnerships are what are needed. If there are gaps somewhere in the country, if we have a particular need or a particular threat here in Houston, sure, let's have some federal support or federal dollars to beef up our own local law enforcement and give them resources that they need. Public safety is paramount, but the National Guard is not supposed to be used for that, okay? We need to, remember that, honestly, like, we have a higher homicide rate than, say, San Francisco. Yes, we're a very large city, one of the largest cities in the country. We're a very spread out city. People I know in rural Texas, maybe they don't understand this. It's very difficult to patrol the whole area, and some criminals can't hide. But that's where we dedicate more resources in a sensible and pragmatic way to solve any problems that we have that local law enforcement are struggling with.
10 seconds. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Huey. Ms. Montiel.
Of course. Houston is second in crime in the nation. At times, we're first behind Chicago. We switch place, Chicago and Houston. We need to protect our citizens in a city where our law enforcement is on their budget, and we have a low number of officers because they're risking their lives. Just a few weeks ago, just recently, the Commissioner's Court cut the budget for our law enforcement. So obviously, we need help. Our small businesses are closing or moving because they keep on breaking into their businesses. Our lives are at risk. And the first job of any and every elected official is to protect their citizens. So, of course, since the city of Houston, which is a blue city, because the problem is the blue cities, is where the crime is high and rampaging, cannot control the crime, then we need the help of the National Guard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. We're going to go on to the next question. Steve?
All right, candidates, thank you so much for staying within time. We're going to move on to question number 7 of the night, and this is in regards to the homeless and housing. 2-part question. First question, what type of federal housing subsidies or initiatives would you recommend to address housing issues across District 18? That's part 1. And part 2 is, where would you allocate these funds? And we're going to start with Ms. Williams.
Thank you. I am a great admirer of former Congress member Barbara Jordan. Barbara Jordan was a strong advocate for fair housing. When we speak of fair housing, who decides what is fair? It's never the people. It is always the politician. If we truly want to focus on fair housing, that means for everyone, low income, middle income, rich, wealthy, working class, and those who are on public benefits. We have to be able to unify the majority of Houstonians, and we have to put it on the ballot. We have to ask them, what do you unilaterally believe, what do you say fair housing is? And when we come to an overwhelming consensus, when we get to an overwhelming consensus of their answer, then legislation can be constructed fairly
10 seconds,
when it
Ms.
comes to
Williams.
fair housing. And so I want to take it back to the people. Too much power has been taken from the people of Texas's 18th Congressional District for generations. I'm restoring that power back to them.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Representative Jones.
Thank you. Housing isn't just a policy for me, it's personal. I lived through housing insecurity as a child and as a single mother. So I know what it feels like to not know where you're going to sleep. And I also bring experience as serving as a chair of the Housing and Community Development Committee when I was on City Council. So I've worked on these issues firsthand. On part one of your question, I would fight for stronger federal housing subsidies and initiatives, especially programs like CDBG grants, which fund affordable housing and neighborhood revitalization, and HOPWA funding for housing opportunities with people with AIDS. I just helped get $50 million for CUNY Homes, which is in Texas 18, for the revitalization of that area. I would also push to expand Section 8 vouchers, increase investments in low-income housing tax credits, and fund permanent supportive housing to reduce homelessness. On part two, I would make sure these funds are allocated equitably, targeting the communities with the greatest need right here in District 18, from 3rd Ward to Acres Homes to Cashmere Gardens and Sunnyside. That means more affordable housing units, wraparound services, and ensuring families aren't displaced by gentrification. The bottom line is housing is a human right. In Congress, I'll bring both my lived experience and my proven record to fight so that every family in Texas has a safe, stable, and affordable place to call home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Jones. Mr. Knox?
I think the homeless, I concur with what has been said about addressing the homeless problem. Now, each homeless person, I think I would give them a evaluation to see where they're at in their mind. I have dealt with homeless people at my church, and I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, but there are many of them that want to live on the streets. Now, I'm not saying all, but there's a certain number that want to live on the streets. There was a young man living in one of our RVs. He illegally came on the property and just started living there. I talked to him, and I said, look, man, I'll help you. Get on your feet. I'll help you. But he didn't want any help. And this is just one case, but there are many other cases. Some of them want to live on the street, and some of them won't help. They need help, and I would be there as the congressman from Texas to help them. Those that won't help, we would help them to get the help that they need, and also find a way to get them off the streets. Those that won't help,
10 seconds.
We would do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knox. Mr. Huey?
Yeah, so for decades, I've known people who have worked in homeless ministries here in Houston. And for people who actually care about them and want to see them housed, that's great. There are some people who may not care or don't feel like they deserve the help. But honestly, even if you're completely selfish and don't want to help them at all, it would actually help Americans in general because, providing services for those in need would lower costs for the country over the long term. Getting them housed would actually give a boost to the country as a whole. So whether you're going to do it through grants or credits or something like that, one big problem is this, right? I mean, a lot of naysayers about government don't like government spending. I think it's important that we have government spending, but we got to be careful about how it's done. We have seen at times corruption in the way some of these housing projects have gone on. We got to be very careful with those dollars and make sure they actually get to where they're going to help people. In general, not just with housing the homeless and affordable housing, but I know people who voted for Trump literally because they were saying they want to be able to afford a house someday. And I was kind of feeling sad about trying to explain to them, none of his policies are making it easier for you to buy a house anytime soon. So even if we tackle affordable housing, we got to tackle all the other stuff that's raising the cost of living for Americans in general.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Ms. Montiel?
The sad thing about homelessness is that the majority of them are veterans. And we need to take better care of our veterans who put their life on the line for freedom and to save us. So I think the first thing we need to do is check them for mental illness, drug addiction. And for me, the most important thing is to house them and give them also trade education so they can join the workforce. And once they feel again valuable for the community, things will change. How will I accomplish that? Well, first, of course, we allocate federal money. But remember, we have $40 billion that is missing that can be very well used for my plan that I'm going to say. Also, we have opportunity zones in the areas that I say opportunity zones bring investors bring jobs brings housing, and with housing, we have better education. Also, what we're going to do is we have a lot of empty buildings and warehouses and houses in the east side of the district. I think we need to buy those with the money we have, with the $40 billion or any federal money that I will allocate, and then we'll rebuilding to house all the homeless we have in the city of Houston. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. Mr. Duncan?
Hey, I kind of like to get a little clarity on the question. So one part of it is solving homelessness, and the other part of it is creating affordable housing?
The first part of it is about housing subsidies and initiatives you would implement in the district, and then where would you allocate funds as far as the subsidies?
For homeless people?
For homeless,
okay.
Yeah.
In terms of homeless people, we're dealing with a lot of mental illness. And so for this generation of homeless people that we have on the streets now, I would just kind of do Band-Aid kind of work. But what I would do is I would concentrate on making sure we don't have a new generation of homeless people. So I would say maybe fourth grade, when I was in school, we had health education. So now I would teach mental health education starting in the fourth grade, to teach our children how to deal with disappointment, to teach our children how to deal with betrayal. Most of these people are there and they're injured because maybe somebody physically or sexually abused them. So I would go ahead and implement a program on how to teach people coping skills, which would eliminate a lot of our people on the street. Lastly, I've created an affordable housing program where we capped the per square foot charge that builders could charge for housing. All the money that comes from federal instruments, we could cap what they charge per square foot for building. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. And we are going to move on to our next question of the night.
All right, we're on question number 8, and we are in the area of education. Access to education has become a major issue on the state level, with the voucher system, also known as education savings accounts, on a federal level with limits on student aid. What type of education programs would you create to fill the gap? And we're going to begin with Representative Jolanda Jones.
So I voted against vouchers when it came before the House, because vouchers is a defunding of public education. I also fought against having public money being spent on private schools. I fought against that bond where they wanted to do that as well. Vouchers are bad for education, and when I'm in Congress, I'll fight to sufficiently fund the Department of Education. And I would stop firing teachers. I would absolutely require that teachers, for example, in HISD, be certified, because our children deserve teachers who actually have been taught how to teach children. So right now, there's this whole effort to defund public education. Is wrong. I'll fight against it, and I will use every tool in my toolbox to make sure that access to public education is fair. I would also, as it relates to public education, also try to relieve debt loans for public education in college, because the best deterrent to crime is a good education and a good job. And America needs to be dedicated to that, and I will do that as your next Congresswoman.
Thank you, Representative Jones. Mr. Knox?
What I would do, college is not for everybody. It's just not for everybody. My goal would be, right now, I hold 2 master's licenses. I have a master's license in plumbing in the state of Texas. I have a master's license in the state of California in plumbing. I attended Trade Technical College in Los Angeles, California. They teach plumbing, they teach AC, they teach carpentry, and they teach electrical. When you come out of that school after 2 years, you have the book knowledge and hands-on. This is what our young men need. This is what a lot of people need. I'm speaking about accredited school. When you come out of there, you can make from $40,000 up, and later on you can build your own, you can start your own business. This is what I would push in Congress, to get money for that and make sure that it goes for that nobody down the line could take it and put it over here or over there. Accredited trades is the key to many of our young men. As I said, college is not for everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Knox. Mr. Huey, please.
So education is near and dear to my heart. My parents studied to be teachers. I got within one class of being certified to be a teacher. I thought about doing it, and I might still do it someday. I have a lot of teacher friends. Right now, somebody from my church was telling me at their school, Durham Elementary, teachers are being fired. Good teachers are being fired for speaking up for what's good for kids. And the story of education in America, the lack of it, actually is a lot of sins of commission and sins of omission, okay? So we have a really weird funding system, and a lot of that is based on that some people have money and some people don't, and we're the wealthiest nation in the world, and a lot of other countries have much better education systems than we do. It doesn't make sense, and it's because the way education is funded is very strange. But also, I was talking to a lady who has a nonprofit in the 5th Ward for education, and she was explaining that we need a more holistic approach to helping these schools and these students. We need to support the families, and a lot of these cuts to communities, food assistance, healthcare, not enough good job opportunities, kind of make the whole problem with students' education even worse. So when I was at Rice, an education professor felt like we need a Marshall Plan for education. That's like when we rebuilt Europe with funds, and we really need to overhaul the way that things work here in America.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Ms. Montiel?
Well, I agree in parental rights. I believe in the voucher and the freedom of the parents to decide where the children are going to go to school, because after all, we pay that with our property taxes. And our schools are failing us. United States rank, depending on what we measure, between 9th and 25th in education around the world. And we are America. We're supposed to be the best of the best. And since the public education is failing us, the parents have the right to decide what they're going to do. That money is not coming from the government. It's money that we pay in taxes. The other thing is this whole thing about, college education. It is so sad. Even in school, they're brainwashing our children. In college, they're brainwashing our children. The kids already have federal loans to go to college that is paid with our money. And after 20 years, it's forgiven if they pay on time the minimum. So now the Democrats want us to again pay their debt. So they've been using all that money to fund, DEI and the brainwashing of our children to go to the left. And that needs to be stopped. We parents should have more right, and the college should be accountable for the death of the children, the debt of the children that they acquire in college. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. Mr. Duncan?
Okay, so my children attended private school. And the one thing that I noticed is that the public schools were very, very mismanaged. Very mismanaged. There's no discipline. There's no structure. Starting at the top. Here in Houston, for example, we had a former HISD board president indicted for stealing money. And she's detailing in federal court how she took bribery payments in Walmart parking lots. Now, as a parent, we don't want our children in that environment. I believe that we should have the choice to pick what we want. All right, so the public schools are poorly managed, and I think the private schools are better managed, and that's what we have to have. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to reestablish what we want from a public school education. You know, what are we trying to teach the children? If we want them to develop social skills, if we want them to learn basic reading, writing, and math skills, if we want to prepare them for college and universities, we have to reestablish what the end goal is. But in everything, in the whole political sphere, in the whole American way of doing things, we have to have a choice. And the choice should always be our own.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Ms. Williams?
Thank you very much. The only way I went to St. Joseph Catholic School is because my mother worked as a maid. And St. Joseph Catholic School taught me so much. They didn't just teach me how to read and write and how to do math. They taught me how to speak Spanish. They taught me etiquette. They taught me so many things. But I also left St. Joseph Catholic School and I went to Garden Villas Music Academy, right there in South Park. And at Garden Villas Music Academy, that's where I first picked up a flute in the 4th grade. That's a public school. After Garden Villas Music Academy, I went on to Hartman Middle School, where I continued on in band under the greatest teacher, I think, in Houston, Texas, besides Mrs. Cummings, that taught me the flute in Garden Villas Elementary School. And Hartman Middle School is also a great public school. Our public schools, I don't like people talking bad about them. Are they underfunded? Yes, they are. You have Westbury High School and you have Westside High School. They're both HISD schools. The difference between those schools is not the racial demographic, it is the economical demographic. We have people in Westbury who are working class people and low income people. However, they do not make the income that the people in Westside, that the parents in Westside make. Public schools are great.
Thank you,
They're
Ms.
just
Williams.
underfunded.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go on to our next question, and it will be followed by closing remarks.
Well, actually, due to time, we're going to have to wrap up. So, candidates, thank you for your answers to the questions tonight. We're going to give you 1 minute to make a closing statement. I won't give a question to frame it. You can say anything you want, starting with Ms. Williams, and then we'll go back up to Representative Jones.
Again, I want to thank you, say thank you to Afrovibes Television. Thank you to our moderators. You did great, by the way. Next time there's a moderation that needs to be done anywhere in the United States, they definitely need to call on you guys. I definitely recommend you guys, both of you, honestly. I'm not trying to shine you on in any kind of way, any more than I'm trying to shine on the voters in Texas's 18th Congressional District. The fact of the matter is I'm not a candidate who says I will, because I have done. I fed our veterans in Houston, Texas for 17 years. I've paid for our veterans to live in hotels for 17 years here in Houston, Texas. I've donated instruments to public schools like Cornelius Elementary, where Dr. Alma Allen's daughter was the principal at that time. I've ran the summer youth jobs programs where I hired 100 low-income youth across Houston, Texas during the summertime. That eased the pain for their parents.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
I've created jobs domestically and internationally, and I want to put the money
and
the power back into the hands of all of the residents in Texas's 18th Congressional District. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Mr. Duncan?
All right, here in this special election, Houston, we have an opportunity to do something really, really special. I'm running as an independent candidate. I spent the last 10 years passing out flyers to even people who may be watching this program. We have an opportunity to chart our own path. The two-party system has failed us. Our communities have been abandoned. We have opportunity to create a new political language. We could create the future that we want. We could create affordable housing. We could create affordable college and universities. Everything is at our fingertip. It starts with changing our direction. Our leadership lost its way about 20 or 30 years ago. Now's the opportunity for us as citizens to redirect our path. This is what we could do. This is a very special election. I want to go to
10
Washington
seconds.
to work for you. The party didn't send me here. You sent me here. I'm working and I'm committed to supporting you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. Ms. Montiel, 1 minute.
First of all, I want to thank you all for giving us this opportunity. I'm not a politician. I'm not using the political talking points just to get a promotion and still do nothing. I'm just a concerned citizen that knows the problems of this city, that moved to the city in 1991 and have seen how the city is getting destroyed, how our city is moving to the left, because all of these problems with illegal immigration and crime and bad education is part of the plan and the manual of the left. Remember, the city is blue, the county is blue, and it's time that we get representation for somebody that cares about the people and cares about our family, cares about our faith, cares about our country and our constitutional rights. I am somebody that have raised a lot of money for the betterment of the city, that created a foundation that expanded to 3 different countries, that raised 3 successful children with masters, and now one have 2 more years in chemical engineering. I will do with the district what I did with my children. I believe in empowering me, vote for me, do something different, not the same old. Houston, we have a problem, and I am your solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Montiel. Mr. Huey?
Thanks for having me this evening. I really appreciate it. A party didn't send me here, but only Democrats can speak their mind in Congress right now. Senator Murkowski already said in the spring, all the Republicans are too scared to do anything. So we're the only ones that can help the country right now. Unemployment is at, a 4-year high right now? It just came out. Inflation is the highest since January. So clearly these policies aren't working out. That's why I want to advocate sensible policies on Capitol Hill. The establishment playbook has not been working out for us, all right? That's why I'm advocating we have to change our approach. We can't just keep doing the status quo. It's not working for us. I'm going to work with whoever I need to get things done on Capitol Hill. Also, I'm not beholden to any corporate interests. I'm just relying on grassroots supporters like yourself. And so that's why I want to stamp out corruption in Congress. So support me. Go check out Huey.vote.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Mr. Knox?
I'm not a politician, but I'll tell you this. Our seniors, I have you in my heart. I want to give you a $20,000 tax-free gift. You need it. Home repairs, you need it. Our Spanish Americans, you that are here, I'm telling you, I will come for you. You have a green card, you have a right to work, you have a visa, I will come for you. All I need to do is make an appointment with ICE and find out why are you there. And you should not be there. Give me a chance. I want to serve, not be served. If I don't get the job done, vote me out. As I said, I retired from General Motors. And if you don't do your job, you won't have a job. Give me an opportunity to serve you. Give me an opportunity. And also, we have mothers with children with autism. You need help, and I want to help you. I am the solution to your problem. We need places on the north side and the south side, and in City Gas and Sunnyside.
Thank you, Mr. Knox. And we're going to follow up with Representative Jones. 1 minute.
Thank you, Afrovibes TV. I'm Representative Jolanda Jones, and I serve in the Texas House of Representatives, and I'm asking you to send me to the U.S. House of Representatives. I was born and raised in Texas 18 in 3rd Ward. My Igbo name is Nneka. This fight is personal to me. From my grandmother's death after inadequate health care, to losing loved ones to gun violence and suicide, to serving abuse and housing insecurity as a single mom. I even had to flee the FBI and Texas Rangers during the quorum break to protect our voting and civil rights. I've worked with Congressman Turner and Jackson Lee, and I'm endorsed by Congressman Craig Washington. I've served as chair of the International Business Initiatives Committee, led trade missions to Africa, and I come from a union family. My mom was a union steward, and I'm a dues-paying member of the Texas State Employees Union. I believe in strong public education, and I'm a product of strong public education.
10 seconds.
I've been elected 11 times by the people of Texas 18. And know that I'm surging in the polls with over 25%, 6 points ahead of the second place candidate, and more than 11 points ahead of the next Democrat. I've passed legislation
Thank you, Ms.
in
Jones.
a Republican-controlled legislative body. DC is broken. I won't fix it alone, but I'll give him the
Representative
blues
Jones.
until we do. Wrap me up, send me to DC so that I can be the
Thank you,
president that Donald
Representative
Trump
Jones.
needs.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's debate. It's been an honor to moderate this important dialogue. To the candidates, thank you for a thought-provoking conversation and well-presented exchange of ideas. And to our viewers, make sure your voice is heard. Register to vote and exercise your right. Your vote is your voice. Be heard. I'm Marina Coriat.
And I'm Steve Okoroha. Be on the lookout for more engaging and informative content right here on Afrovibes TV. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
On behalf of Afrovibes TV and radio, we extend our sincere thanks to all the candidates for participating in this important debate for District 18th Congressional District. Tonight, we witnessed thoughtful discussions, diverse perspectives, and a clear demonstration of what leadership means in this community. We also thank you to our viewers for joining us. Remember, your voice matters. Your vote is your power. This program will rebroadcast across all Afrovibes TV platforms through Election Day and will remain on demand. As we close, we honor the legacy of leaders and we look ahead to the future of District 18 with hope and responsibility. From all of us here at Afrovibes TV and radio, I'm Barbara Sam. Thank you for watching. And most importantly, make sure your voice is heard on November 4th.
Hello, everyone. My name is Savannah Jones. I'm here today with Afrovibes TV. I am the host of Houston is Inspired, and I'm here today at the Texas 18 Congressional District Debate with candidate
Amanda Edwards.
Hi, Miss Edwards. Thank you so much for being here today. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So the first question I have to ask you is, what sets you apart and makes you the best candidate for this position?
I'm the candidate in this race that has a bold vision for our future, in addition to the experience and ability to get things done. I started off born, raised, and I still live in this 18th Congressional District. I have practiced law as a public finance attorney, which means I've brought public dollars to public projects, which is a lot of what you have to do as a congressional member. But in addition to that, I've been a city council member at large during some of our worst disasters, like Harvey, for example. So I know what it means to really push infrastructure resources to a region like ours, but also where the gaps in the policies are and that still remain. And I'm uniquely qualified, having worked in the office of the 18th Congressional District, having worked at City Hall as a city council member and as a public finance attorney, to use those skills to be ready on day one to make a difference that's transformative in the lives of our constituents.
Absolutely well said, very perfectly said. In fact, I love that you're a native Houstonian. I am as well, so that's really awesome. So being a native Houstonian, do you think it gives you a unique perspective on our needs in District 18?
Absolutely. You know, my roots in this community are far deeper than just me. We've been in that district for generations. My uncles used to own the old C&L shoe repair on Lyons Avenue in 5th Ward. My grandfather was a longshoreman in this community. My mother went to Carver High School in Acres Homes. So for me, it's very personal that we get it right. And when I say get it right, get the pulse of the community at the center of this conversation. Make sure that we're amplifying the voices and the concerns and the issues of the community, but most importantly, then putting us in a position where we're able to solve those challenges. It does no one any good if we're just giving speeches that are not accompanied by the real change that this community truly deserves to see.
I love that. Basically sums up as actions speak louder than words, and you represent actions, and I love that. So very powerfully said. Another thing I'd like to ask is, what are some of your goals for District 18 in the future?
You know, I always say the mission here with this work is to create an 18th Congressional District and broader community where every single person in it, no matter what your background, no matter where you live, has the opportunity to thrive every day, not just get by every day, but truly to thrive. And so what that means is access to healthcare. What that means is access to adequate, safe, affordable housing. What that means is access to education and economic opportunity for our community. And so you've got to put systems and policies in place that help to support that, but you also have to bring down the resources that support that as well. And so right now we are in very, very trying times in our community with our president fighting against healthcare, education, economic stability, and more. And so we need to fight against what's happening now, but also really seize a bold vision for our future, because it's also about, that's what leadership is about, is moving our community forward.
Absolutely. You definitely sound like a leader. You look like a leader. You have a beautiful smile that just can light up a room. And I just love that energy. And I think it would do so well for our city. So thank you very much for today. If I can ask you one more thing, if you could describe yourself as a leader in one word, what would that word be?
Persistent. Yes.
That's how we get things done. Persistence. Absolutely. Showing up and showing out. And I love that for you. Thank you very much. You definitely embody what it means to be someone. Thank you for watching today, and see you later, Houston.
Hello, I'm Luna, and we're here at the Texas 18th District Candidate Debate. I'm here with Carmen.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having us. And it was an incredible debate. Thank you.
Oh, I'll say the least. It was very good. I like how strong you were, and you stood up against all of the other candidates. It almost felt like it was everybody against you a little bit.
Oh, yes, they're afraid of me. You know, I'm consistently running second in the polls, and they all switch places when their own campaigns make the polls. So they know I'm the target. They know I'm up there. They know I'm going to win. So that's why they need to attack me.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So what is one of the biggest challenges that you faced during this campaign?
Well, it's just managing time because, you know, I work, I'm a real estate broker. So I'm still, you know, doing my work. I have children. It's managing time to make all of this happen. As you know, campaigns are demanding. We're 48 days away from election day and organizing the teams. Thanks God, I have a great team of volunteers. So we're just getting ready to just get to the finish line.
Absolutely. And so you're originally from Venezuela, correct?
Yes.
So not being a Houston native, do you think that gives you a unique perspective on what District 18 needs?
Well, I came to Houston in 1991.
Okay.
And
You're pretty much a Houston native.
I'm a Houston native. And I came, my first job, I'm a journalist. So my first job was as a reporter. And as a reporter, you are always out every day on the field. So if there is a way to get to know the city, Harris County, Brazoria County, and all the counties surrounding the area is when you're a reporter. So I think I have a better knowledge than even Houstonians about Houston, Harris County, Brazoria County, and all the counties around. Because for month I was on the field, just on the road and facing everything that happened. We were through floodings, you know, fires, you know, shootings, you know, covering absolutely everything. So we were in all different neighborhoods of the city, and that gave me a complete view of what Houston is, and I can drive this city like no other person can. And then my children were born and raised here. I'm a Houstonian. I've been in Houston, in United States, way more time than I was in my country of birth. I came here with 23 years old, and that was 37 years ago. So I've been.
We can't tell. We can't tell. You look fantastic. Okay, so one thing that a lot of the people of District 18, they don't really know a lot of the candidates. What are you doing to make sure that the people of District 18 get to know you a little bit more personally and feel like they want to vote for you?
Well, I already ran the district in 2022, so hopefully, you know, they have some memory. We're pulling out the same signs. We're walking, we're knocking at doors, and these type of events that are going to be aired give us a great opportunity, because sadly, mainstream media, they've been hiding me like the plague, because they are so leftist that they think they want to make people believe that this is just a race for the Democrats, but it's not. I'm the only Republican that is counting here, that is constantly second in the polls, and people is tired of the same thing. For 30 years, nothing has been done. People is tired that nothing happened. People is tired that they're messing up with their children. People is tired that they don't have economic opportunities. People is tired that the American dream is dying. And I saw that happen in my country of birth. It is the same path. And that's what I decided to run for office and do something, because I cannot see this situation, and like I said, this horror movie to repeat and do nothing about it.
I appreciate that you're doing that for us. And one last question, just to round it out. For the viewers that are at home watching, could you put together a statement that really embodies who you are?
I am resilient. I would say is the best way to describe me. It doesn't matter what happened to me. I just dust, I just get the dust off, get up and keep on going with more power and force than I was before. And everybody that knows me can tell you that. And that's what I would do when I am your congresswoman for all of you.
Thank you so much for your time, Carmen. It was an honor and a privilege.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Savannah Jones. I'm here today with Afrovibes TV. I'm the host of Houston is Inspired. And today I'm at Texas 18th Congressional District Debate with candidate
Christian Menifee.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming today. So let's get started with the fun stuff, shall we? So the first question I'd like to ask you is what sets you apart and makes you the best candidate for this position?
Everywhere I go across the district, it doesn't matter if folks are 20 years old, 60 years old, 80 years old. They just want someone who's going to fight back against Donald Trump and who's going to win. And the good news is I've already done that. Time and time again, as I've been county attorney, I've had to fight the Trump administration, the Abbott administration, stand up to these folks, put real wins on the board to bring resources back to our communities. That's the same energy, same type of time I'll be on when I go to Congress.
I like that. Very well said. Very powerful statement that you made. So very nice. All right. The next question I'd like to ask you is, if you are elected, what are some key points that you would like to focus on?
I want to make sure that every single person in this district has the opportunity to thrive financially. So many times we're telling kids across our district, across our communities, that you got to go to college, right? Go get 4 years, go get a bunch of debt. And then ultimately, a lot of folks aren't even landing good jobs. I want to increase the number of workforce development programs in our community so that kids as early as high school and community college can be able to start building a trade that's going to help them make money well into the future. I want to increase the amount of attainable housing in our district, right? Because we know that across this district, there are people who are priced out of homes and have no ability to move into the community. I'm ultimately just want to build this district up to be one of the best places to live and raise a family in all the state of Texas. And it starts right here in the 18th.
Well, that definitely speaks even personally to me and my family as well. So I can imagine if it speaks to me, it must speak to all of you too. So that was a very good statement. I like that. All right. So my next one will be, what qualities do you believe make a successful community leader?
Integrity. It's just about doing the exact same thing, regardless of whether there's a lot of people in the room or there's no people in the room. And time again, I think we see our public servants put self over the community, put their own ambition over what's best for the people that they're supposed to serve. So what you get out of me is I've been the county attorney for the past 4 years. You know exactly my work ethic, how I conduct myself, and exactly how I'll be in Congress because I've been that way at the county. For me, this has always been about serving the communities that I love, and I'll do exactly that when I go to Congress.
I like that. You take the title public servant very to heart and you embody that. And that's very nice, you know?
Take it very serious.
Absolutely. All right. So if you could leave the viewers at home with a statement that embodies who you are, what would it be?
I'm someone who believes very deeply in servant leadership. Right now at the county attorney's office, we have 300 attorneys and staff who I work with day in and day out, who are the most selfless, committed people that you'll find in public service. And so my goal is just to recreate that throughout public service. People who deeply believe in this work, who are trying to bring resources back home to the people that they serve, who are trying to put wins on the board. And so that's why I'm here, is to serve my community, to help out in the best way that I can. And I'll be the same vigorous fighter in Congress that I've been in the county attorney's office.
What a beautiful balance between compassionate and strong. And I think that's a very strong statement coming for you. Thank you so much for coming today. And thank you to our viewers for listening in. Hello, everyone. My name is Savannah Jones. I'm here today with Afrovibes TV. I'm the host of Houston is Inspired. And today I'm at Texas 18 Congressional District Debate with candidate
Stephen Huey.
Hi, Mr. Huey. Thank you so much for being here today. It's really nice to meet you. So let's start off with some good questions, shall we? The first one I'd like to ask is, what sets you apart and makes you the best candidate for this position?
So honestly, for when it comes to sensible policy in DC, I have the most depth and breadth in things like energy, finance, and healthcare. I've solved problems in all of those industries for over 20 years, right? So I'm not going to be relying on a think tank or the party to tell me what to do, right?
I like it. An independent problem solver.
Yeah.
I like that. That's very well said. All right, so my next question, this one should be kind of easy, is if elected, what are some key points that you would like to focus on?
Honestly, I feel like it doesn't matter whether you're blue, red, purple, or orange. Everyone should be able to get behind the fact that we have too much corruption on Capitol Hill. I do want to stop insider trading in Congress, and I feel like we got to rein in big money influence in politics. That's drowning out the voices of the voters, and every American should be able to get behind stopping that.
I like that. It's definitely an economic approach. I can appreciate that as an economics student myself. So I like that you said that. It's very nice. All right. So the next one, let's get to some good ones here. What is something that you love about our great city of Houston?
So I grew up partly in Texas and partly in Nigeria. And so one thing I do like about Houston, aside from it being a large city with lots of opportunity, is it's like the whole world has come to Houston to join us here. And we get to eat food from everywhere and meet people from all sorts of stripes, right? So I definitely enjoy the variety. There's a whole world to explore out there, but it's pretty cool that you have so much here, right here in Houston.
Absolutely. Well said. Everyone has a chance to be someone here. I love that. What are some goals that you have in regard to the future of District 18?
Yeah, so honestly, we feel like this district in particular is getting hit hard by the governor and the president and various policies that seem short-sighted at best. First of all, we don't have a voice there to advocate for the district. So our district is getting hit very hard by cuts to food assistance, healthcare, and honestly, some of the president's own hardcore supporters are going to be hit by this too. They just don't realize it yet. So my goal is to try to somehow get him to change his mind, as he sometimes does, right? And reverse course before it's too late and before our district is impacted.
Well said. Thank you very much for that. So I'd like to finish off with, if you could describe yourself as a leader for the community in one word, what would that word be?
Unifier, I hope. Yeah.
That's a strong one. I like that. Well, thank you very much for coming on today, and thank you for watching.
Hello, I'm Luna, and we're here at the Texas 18th District 18th Candidate Debate. I'm here with Mr. Vincent Duncan.
Hello, Afrovibes TV.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm here with the Luna, and this is a very, very special night. It's your first inaugural candidate event, and so Afrovibes is expanding into politics, and politics encompasses everything we're going to do. So I'm super glad to be a part of this event.
Absolutely. It's an honor and privilege to have you here. So let's jump into some questions.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Other than being one of the only independent candidates here in this debate, what sets you apart and makes you the perfect person for this position?
I'm the beginning of what politics should look like. What I did is I looked around about 10 years ago and I didn't like what I was seeing, Luna. And what I did is I started to read the law. And when I started to read the law, I learned that my friends and neighbors could nominate a candidate of their own. Initially, prior to that, I thought the only way you could get into it was if you were a Democrat or Republican. And so after I started to read the law, then I started being able to separate the law from advertising. And so my position is going to give the citizens of the district direct input in how we're governed. So that's going to be the separator. The other candidates, they're going to ask their party chairs if they have permission to help us. And this is what's holding us back.
Speaking of the citizens, a lot of the citizens in District 18 don't know a lot about each of the candidates. What are you doing to put yourself out there and make sure they know who you are?
Well, I'm on the sidewalks all over Houston. So I hit the baseball games, football games, any sidewalk, and I talk to people and I pass out flyers. I probably passed out maybe about 10,000 flyers myself to say we have a special election and that civic responsibility, everybody has to be in that, to help govern our city for themselves and their children. So I explained to them that it's a special election, and here's how it became a part, what happened, and here's why they should vote for me. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so that's the separator right there.
Yes, sir. Very compelling. So on the chance that you do get elected into office, which is a very good chance.
I'm in the race.
Yes, sir. What's one key point that you would like to focus on?
Mm, I kind of want to kind of rebuild our infrastructure. I grew up in a blue collar family here in Houston, and I would say about the last 40 years, America's manufacturing has been dismantled. Our labor has been dismantled to where we have to look outside the country for what the things that we already had. And so that would kind of be my primary focus on rebuilding the country from the inside.
Absolutely. And one last question, if you don't mind. I know you're a busy man. For the viewers at home, could you put together one statement that truly embodies who you are? Not one word, one statement.
Superstar. Yes, yes, superstar. Yeah, I'm big, but the community is bigger and our future is brighter. So we are a collective galaxy of stars, but our past leadership never put us in a position to reach our full potential. So I would just say I'm a superstar, but the community is even brighter, and every single person is important. So that would be a term I would come up with, superstar.
I like that. I might have to put that in my back pocket. Well said, Mr. Duncan. Thank you for your time.
So thank you, man. I appreciate everything.
Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. My name is Savannah Jones. I'm here today with Afrovibes TV. I am the host of Houston is Inspired, and today I'm at the Texas 18th Congressional District Debate with Representative
Jolanda Jones.
Hi, Ms. Jones. Thank you so much for coming on today. So let's go ahead and get started with the fun stuff, shall we? So the first question I'd like to ask you is, what sets you apart and makes you the best candidate for this position?
Well, I'm the only candidate in this race who's completed more than one term, elected for anything. I've actually been elected 11 times in Texas 18. I am the current state representative, and I stood for democracy when I left for the quorum break and didn't come back so that the Republicans could steal 5 seats in Texas and 2 black seats in Houston and in Dallas. That would be me. You probably saw me because I had a viral moment. I also served as the chair of the International Business Initiatives Committee when I was on city council. But foremost, I actually passed legislation, so I'm the only candidate that's actually filed legislation, fared it through the process, and got it passed and signed into law in a Republican body, the Texas legislature. I passed 2 bills. And I'll also say this, that I know how to fight when I have to fight in public, but I also know how to work behind the scenes, which is exactly how, as a Democrat with 88 Republicans and 62 Democrats, I got bills passed and got the Republican governor, who I have nothing in common with, to sign them into law.
Wow. You are definitely a very, very strong woman. It comes off immediately as soon as I meet you. That's very impressive.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So my next point, if you are elected, what are some key points that you would like to focus on?
So access to health care. Trump has knocked a lot of people off health care. Also, getting our Social Security back, because Social Security is not welfare, it's not a handout. It is poor people's retirement. We pay into it our entire lives. So the fact that Donald Trump will decrease Social Security in order to give billionaires tax breaks is offensive to me. Fighting for our voting rights, which is exactly why, as I said before, I left and didn't come back, because the Republicans are trying to set us back to before 1964 Civil Rights Act and 1965 Voting Rights Act, back into Jim Crow. So we've got to fight for voting rights. We've got to fight for criminal justice reform, because the criminal justice system targets Black and brown people, and we need to stop the over-incarceration of us. But there are, I'm sorry, let's also talk about the economy, where we need for people to be able to have jobs that pay a living wage, where when we work, we can afford health insurance, we can afford to retire, we can afford to help our kids pay for college, where we have vocational training because everybody's not going to go to college, where we have reentry for people who've been touched by the criminal justice system so that they can get jobs, because the best deterrent to crime is a good job. So I'm a strong union person as well.
I love
Wanna know
that.
something else?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
What else do you want to know?
What are some qualities that you believe make a successful community leader?
Well, first of all, listening to your constituents. You've got to do that. I respectfully suggest to you, that's why I've been elected 11 times in Texas 18, because I listen to my constituents. When my constituents say, you better go for the quorum break, otherwise we gonna get rid of you, I went. And when we were gone and people were considering coming back, my constituents said, you better not come back. And I listened to my constituents. So if I'm forced to choose between anything and my constituents, I'm 10 toes down, 1,000 times out of 1,000. I'm going to roll with what my constituents ask me to do. And I'm going to fight for it. And I forgot to also tell you, I'm a 30-year trial lawyer. Wow. Nobody else is a trial lawyer. There's finance lawyers, there's lawyers who manage law firms who fight for them. But when a client hires me, I go to court. I'm the one who's got to pick a jury. I'm the one who's got to persuade a jury that my client did or didn't do what my clients tell me they did or didn't do. And I will tell you, one of the reasons why I believe I've been so successful in trials is because I'm quick on my feet, sort of like Jasmine Crockett in Congress.
Absolutely. Well, you're very
Too,
passionate.
by the way. Yeah, I'm passionate.
You're passionate for your people. You're passionate for your community. It comes out in the way that you speak, in the way that you fight for what we believe in and what we want. You know, these are things that people are talking about in their houses at home. You know, we're hoping and praying that these people, you know, in Congress can listen to our voices. And you are a voice that deserves to be heard. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. If you could think of one word that describes you as a community leader, what would that word be?
I can only pick one.
Just one.
Empathetic.
Interesting. Not what I expected,
What'd you-
but I honestly thought strong, resilient, powerful. But when you say empathetic, that is more powerful than anything. So I do believe I see that for you now. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Savannah Jones. I'm the host of Houston is Inspired on Afrovibes TV, and I'm here at the Texas 18th Congressional District Debate with candidate
Isaiah Martin.
Hi, Mr. Martin. It's so great to meet you. Thank you for so much for coming today. So my first question, just kind of start everything off, is what sets you apart and makes you the best candidate for the position?
Well, for one, I'll say I got a spine. I spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C., spent 4 years with Congresswoman Jackson Lee as her senior advisor. I know Washington. Washington, D.C. is not like the city, it's not like the state, it's not like the county, it's Washington. And you got a lot of Republican lawmakers that are doing everything they can to put amendments in bad bills. And that was part of my job with Congresswoman Jackson Lee. I stayed on the phone with her till late in the night, 4 o'clock in the morning, to go figure out what's the crazy stuff that they put in bills. I know how Washington works. On the flip side of that, I've got the energy to go forward and fight for the district. I'm not a puppet. And I'm ready to go step forward and stand up and fight back against a lot of stuff we see.
That was well said, very well said. And I love how you have that personal tie to our former leaders and all that kind of stuff. So that's really awesome. I actually am also from that area. I'm from Virginia, so I understand it's definitely different than what we have here. So very awesome. So if you're elected, what would be some key points that you would like to focus on?
I would say prices are way too high. I mean, if you go to a grocery store, it is way too expensive in this country. And so the tariffs from Donald Trump have raised prices on everybody. So I'll be filing legislation to axe the Trump tax, to take this tariff power away from them so we can immediately see the cost of businesses go down, to see the cost of groceries go down, so prices are not as high. In addition to that, I also believe in guaranteeing health care and child care, because it makes no sense to me that we can afford to go save $4 trillion in tax cuts to folk like Elon Musk, but we certainly have people inside of our district that are paying more than $1,000 per month per kid to put their kids in child care. I'll be working every single day to make sure we can fight back against that so the people of the district have more of their own money.
It's a very powerful message. You know how it is. Everyone likes to have their money. You know what I mean? So that's going to appeal to everybody. I like how you said that. So next, what qualities do you think make a successful community leader?
I think one that can communicate. You know, one of the things that we've been able to do is just focus on knocking on doors and going out to communicate. But we've built a social media platform of over 1 million followers across all platforms. That's what we want to use to be able to keep people informed. In addition to that, we've also been doing nightly TikTok town halls that have been getting more than 15,000 people a night. I mean, that's almost like filling up Toyota Center every single night to hear people concerned about what's going on in the district and around America. I believe that being transparent is going to be very important for the next member of Congress that's in the district. And I guess if you had to single out another quality, I would say, like I said, having a spine. Because Donald Trump loves to go forward and send attacks to members of Congress's way. I've seen a lot tougher people than Donald Trump, so I'm ready to take him on and beat him.
Sounds like a very strong stance. I would love to see you follow through and actually get that done. So I really like that stance. Absolutely. If you could leave the viewers at home with a statement that embodies who you are, what would that be?
I represent a new generation of leadership. Folks have seen that they're sick and tired of the same old politicians that come up there and claim they're going to do something, and then ultimately you see our community is more expensive, our school district's still taking over, and ultimately I think people are looking for leadership. I've done that already in Washington, D.C., and I'm ready to do that as the next congressman for the district. So I'm ready to fight back against all this stuff.
I love that. You're definitely a formidable competitor, and good luck to you today at the debate. Thank you so much for this little chat.
Absolutely.
It was really awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening, Houston.
Hello, I'm Luna, and we are here at Texas District 18th Candidate Debate. I'm here with Miss Valencia Williams.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Afrobeats. Hi, Nija. Houston, stand up.
Absolutely. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here. Thank you so much for dedicating some time to this.
Thank you.
So I have a few questions for you.
Sure, go ahead, shoot.
So during this campaign, what was one of the biggest challenges that you faced?
Funding.
Yeah, definitely.
Funding. People say it takes a lot of money to win. I don't think so. I think it takes honesty to win.
Amen.
And I always tell them, listen, Cori Bush, former Congressmember Cori Bush, was homeless, living in her vehicle with no money, and she still became a congresswoman. So it doesn't take money. It takes honesty, hard work, and someone who really, truly resonates with the people and projects care, hope, that represents hope.
Absolutely. I fully agree with that statement. So you're a Houston native, born and raised.
Born and raised in H-Town.
I know, that's right. So being a Houston native, does that give you a unique perspective on what District 18 needs?
Oh, absolutely. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, but over in Fifth Ward, I moved from Fifth Ward, Cashmere Gardens, the dirty nickel, as y'all call us over there. We're not the 44, we're the dirty nickel. And I moved from Fifth Ward to Allen Parkway. And Allen Parkway is also part of Texas's 18th Congressional District, but so is Pinemont. And so is the 43rd Street, and so is so many other places that have been left out. So when it comes to Houston, Texas, and Texas's 18th Congressional District, I have definitely spread myself far and wide within the whole district, focusing on the entire district and not on just one demographic. And I couldn't do that anyway because I'm the United Nations. I'm not just one race. So.
I love that. Me too. You're speaking to my heart. So speaking of the district, what are your thoughts on Texas redistricting overall?
The more the merrier.
Right, right.
You know, for Texas's 18th Congressional District, I'm happy because I'm just like, oh, great, the more the merrier. That's more voters.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, that's more people to take care of because I'm not here to be served. I've been of service for 17 years and I will continue to be of service. I have served for 17 years and I will continue to be of service to everyone in Texas's 18th Congressional District. So now that we have more people that need to be served, I'm happy. Come on. Hey, Gregory Abbott, bring more people into Texas's 18th Congressional District.
There we go. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, one last question to round out our interview. So for the viewers at home, could you put together a statement that truly embodies who you are so they can kind of get to know you?
Well, once again, I'm not the candidate who says that I will. I will, I will, I will. My philosophy in service has always been, if I didn't give you a sandwich when I wasn't a politician, if I don't give you a sandwich before you elect me as Texas's 18th Congressional District Congress member, before, the likelihood of me giving you a sandwich once I get into the seat is 0 to none. And I've been giving sandwiches to the north, south, east, and west side of Houston, Texas for 17 years.
She's been doing the work and doing the heavy lifting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Savannah Jones from Afrovibes TV. I'm the host of Houston is Inspired, and today I'm here at Texas 18 Congressional District Debate, here with candidate
Ollie Knox.
Hi, Mr. Knox. Thank you so much for coming out today. So why don't we get started with the fun stuff, shall we?
Good.
So the first question I have to ask you is, what sets you apart and makes you the best candidate for this position?
I'm a servant of the people, and I'm here to serve. That's what makes me the best candidate, and I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. I'm going to put myself out on a limb. If I don't get the job done, vote me out.
I love that. Very well said. And it's simple and straight to the point. And I love that about you as a candidate. It seems like you're very clear cut and to the point. And that's what we need. So the next question I have to ask you is, if you are elected, what are some key points you would like to focus on?
Well, the key points I want to focus on is our seniors. Our seniors are in trouble and they need help with money as far as they need home repairs, plumbing, electrical, AC, carpentry. They need help. Many of our seniors still have tarps still in their homes that's not taken care of. And our seniors need some money to reinstate the SNAP program that was taken away from them.
I like that. Very well said. One thing I really enjoyed listening to you in the debate talk about was your stance on trade school versus college education. Do you mind elaborating on that for me a little bit?
Well, college isn't for everyone. We have students that have went to college, can't find a job, and they're in a lot of debt. I have a daughter right now that's in a lot of debt. She went to college, and she's in a lot of debt. My thing is, as I said earlier, college isn't for everyone. Trade schools, I believe, is the key. 2 years, to learn plumbing, to learn electrical, to learn AC, to learn carpentry. People that have that come out of those schools, they can get jobs. You're looking at $40,000, $50,000 up to $100,000, and sometimes they go into their own business. It's a good trade.
Absolutely. Very well said. Thank you for that. There's one more really good question that I think that you can answer well. So what are your current thoughts on the recent political violence?
It's no place for that. Charlie Kirk was a father, a husband, and just because somebody disagreed with his what he was saying, he did not deserve to die. He was a good man. He was a Christian, a family man, a man that was trying to help people, trying to empower them. Good man, and he should not have lost his life just because somebody didn't agree with him. It's not right, and it should not be condoned in any way.
Absolutely. Beautifully said, sir. Is there anything else you would like to say to the public?
I'd like to say, give me an opportunity to serve you. I want to serve, not be served. And I can get the job done. As I said earlier, I am not a politician. This is my first time running. I know how Congress run. All I want is an opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for listening in.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.